It's the start of 2021, and for most of us, a new year means new goals. If you clicked on this video, I think it's pretty safe to assume that one of your goals is to save more money in 2021. Well, first of all, spending less is an awesome goal, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 practical tips that you can use to live below your means. These practices have completely transformed the way that Chris and I spend money and do our financial planning, and putting them into practice has allowed us to snowball our savings. 5 years ago, we were spending nearly 95% of our earnings every single month, and today we have reduced our spending all the way down to 15%, which leaves us with 85% of our earnings to save, to invest, and to drive our passive income. So needless to say, this has made a huge difference in our lives. So let's get started and talk about how you can live below your means in 2021. Hi, I'm Sam. Thanks for tuning into our channel where we explore achieving wealth and financial freedom through a 3-part strategy: earn more, spend less, and invest the rest. Spending less is absolutely vital as being the first step on your journey to financial freedom. You have to have a surplus amount of money in order for you to invest and grow your passive income streams. And those passive income streams are the fuel for your financial freedom engine. So with that, let's get started with talking about these tips. Tip number 1, make a plan for your money. You need to have a detailed budget plan in which you know in advance how much money you are going to spend on every single aspect of your life. That includes needs and wants and savings. If you're interested in a detailed tutorial on how to set a budget, or if you want to learn more about how much you should be saving in order to meet your retirement goals, I actually filmed 2 separate videos on these topics. I'll link them in the description below in case you want to check them out. In order for you to get started making a plan for your money in 2021, I suggest that you get started by making a list of everything that you spend money on and categorizing it into needs and wants. It's pretty self-explanatory. The needs are the things that you can't live without, and the wants are the things that you can live without. Then you want to compare the amount of money you're spending to the amount of money you're earning. And that's going to give you your baseline for how much you're saving, or in other words, how much you're living below your means. From there, you're going to be able to set a clear goal for yourself. My recommendation is that you make a long-term goal, and maybe this long-term goal is to increase your savings by 50, 60, or even 70%, something like what Chris and I had 5 years ago. This is a really big, audacious goal. So if you have a big, audacious goal, I recommend that you take it step by step and work backwards every month. Just like if you were asked to climb to the top of a building, you wouldn't automatically leap from the bottom stair all the way to the top. You would take it one step at a time. So think of increasing your savings this way. Every month you want to increase your savings just a bit. And by doing this, you will really be taking all the right steps to decreasing the amount of money that you are spending every month. The most important part is that you have a very clear action plan on your allowance of how much you are going to spend on every aspect of your life. Because if you don't have a plan, you won't be able to stick to it. So number 1, get started by making a very clear budget and a very clear plan for your money. Tip number 2, pay your savings first. This means that rather than waiting to the end of the month to see whatever's left over, you need to put aside that savings at the beginning of the month before you deduct your living expenses. This is the polar opposite of how most people would normally think about savings. Personally, I can relate to this very much. 6 years ago, I was the kind of person that really treated savings as an afterthought at the end of every month. We would get our salaries, spend that money, and then whatever was left over, maybe it was $100, $1,000, or $0, that's what got put into our savings account. As a result, we were inconsistent and we weren't achieving our goals. And as soon as we started implementing this practice, we started to really see that account grow and grow, and it reached a point where we knew we actually had a nest egg that we could begin to invest, and that was an amazing feeling. So my recommendation for you is that you actually create an auto debit that goes out within 3 days of you getting paid. and that this money is put into an account that is completely separate from your day-to-day spending. This way, you're not going to see it in front of you every day, and once that money is gone, you're not going to be tempted to spend it on things that you don't really need. There's a reason why this tip is recommended by so many financial gurus, because it really, really works. So make sure that you pay your savings first. Tip number 3, track your expenses. And when I say track your expenses, I mean every single dollar, every single day. This serves 2 purposes. Number 1, if you are just starting out with really taking saving seriously and setting a budget, this is going to truly pull back the curtain so that you can get an understanding of how much money you are spending. Now, I can tell you not only from my personal experience, but from all my friends and family who have done this exercise, you will be surprised by how much money you are spending, and you will be surprised on the kind of stuff you are spending it on. It is vitally important that you do this exercise for at least 3 months, and even up to 6 months if you need it, especially when you're first getting started. You have to write down every single penny that you are spending. Not only is this going to give you a better idea of your financial situation and your spending habits, but it's also going to hold you super accountable. I can tell you that within the first week after me writing down, oh, I spent $8 on a gourmet chocolate bar, the next time I went to the store and saw that $8 gourmet chocolate bar, I went, you know what, maybe I don't need that. Maybe I can get the $2 Hershey's bar instead. It's going to make you accountable for your spending. So it is vitally important that you track all of your expenses. Now, the way that I did it, I really personally am a fan of a paper journal. There's something special about handwriting things that, again, makes you more mindful and makes you more accountable. But if that's not your thing, there are tons of apps. This is really important though. You have to manually do this. You can't just have an app on your phone connected to your debit card and you look at it at the end of every day. You're not going to hold yourself accountable in that way. As such, it is super important that you manually track all of your expenses every day for accountability and transparency with yourself. So get started with tracking that spending. Tip number 4, increase your income. Now, there might be a few of you skeptics out there watching this video who think, okay, great, Sam, good advice. I'll just go out there and increase my income tomorrow. But don't be so quick to judge. I guarantee that there is a way that you can increase your income in the immediate future. There are 3 main ways that you can do this. The first is by increasing your earned income. So this is going to affect your 9 to 5. This might be something that you can do to upgrade your skills. Maybe you can get a higher qualification, or perhaps take a course that's going to help you upgrade your skills, that's going to give you negotiation power so that you can increase your salary. Maybe you can get a promotion. Maybe you can add more value to the organization. Maybe you can get bonuses. There's lots of ways that you can increase your earned income. However, if you're in a position where that's not a reality for you, perhaps you're at the top bracket for your career, or you just, with COVID going on, there's just not opportunities for you to make more money with your job right now because your company isn't offering them. That's okay, because there's 2 other ways. You can have a side hustle and you can increase your passive income. Now, the way that I typically differentiate these 2 is that when it comes to side hustles, you are giving an investment of your time, and when it comes to generating passive income, you're typically giving an investment of your money. I recently filmed a separate video on 10 side hustles that you can do in 2021. In researching for this video, you will not believe how many side hustles I found people doing and making real money with. I want to share with you 3 that really caught my eye. The first one was hosting a virtual experience on Airbnb. It seems that even though people aren't traveling, they still have the desire to connect and to have a unique experience. And so there was tons of people that are hosting these virtual experiences and really making bank. The next one is a tried and true side hustle, and that is teaching or tutoring. I guarantee that you have a skill that somebody else is interested to learn. Maybe it's teaching English, maybe it's playing the guitar, maybe it's art lessons, maybe it's math tutoring. You have something to offer, and if you're willing to teach it to others, that's a great side hustle that can generate some extra cash in your pocket every month. And the third one that I found super interesting was flipping, but not flipping houses, flipping other items, things like flipping old furniture or antique clothing or artwork, stuff like that. So if you're a creative person and you like making something feel new and fresh again, this could be a really great side hustle for you in 2021. And of course, let's not forget good old passive income streams. If you have some money put aside, even if it's as little as $1,000, that is still a great starting point for you to invest into things like the stock market or real estate, things that are going to generate money for you. What you want to do is buy assets, and remember, an asset is something that makes you money. In conclusion, living below your means is a lot easier if your means are increased. So think creatively about ways that you can increase your income, whether it's through your 9-to-5, passive income streams, or side hustles. And last but not least is tip number 5. Practice delayed gratification. Now, what I mean by this is that I don't want you to increase your lifestyle too much too soon. So one of the things that you will see as you start implementing these practices is that the amount of money you're saving every month will begin to snowball, and it is very tempting to start increasing your lifestyle, to get a nicer apartment, to buy more high-end clothing, to purchase a more expensive car. You think, I've got more money, so for most people, when they have more money, it starts to burn a hole in their wallet and they want to spend it. So step number 5 requires a lot of discipline. I want to share with you a personal story where practicing delayed gratification came into play very recently for us. So the situation was that we needed a new car. Chris and I had both recently received promotions at our jobs, and we had a real estate investment that had done really well, so we had a bit of extra cash. We were very tempted to buy a shiny SUV with all the bells and whistles, especially because a lot of our colleagues and peers here where we live drive those kind of cars. And in fact, us driving a very basic vehicle is something that we get made fun of a lot for here, in a joking way, but people still poke fun at it. So when the time came, we were looking at our options, and man, we were really seriously thinking about going ahead and getting that fancy SUV. But at the end of the day, we looked at the numbers and we realized that the amount of money we would spend on that vehicle, which is not an asset, was going to cost about the same as it would to put a down payment on a house back home in Florida. And so ultimately we decided we're not going to get a fancy SUV. We will get another basic car, and if people want to make jokes, then that's totally fine, because we're going to practice delayed gratification, and we're going to use that money to buy a real asset that's going to increase our passive income streams. And as those passive income streams grow, well, later on in the line, we'll be able to use them to buy that fancy SUV with all the bells and whistles, but not right now. Right now, we want to put that money towards an asset today. And so that's how we practice delayed gratification, and that's how we felt secure in making that decision. It is very difficult to go backwards in life, so make sure that you delay that gratification and always keep your end goal in mind. Now, I told you there was only 5 tips, but I want to end this video by giving you a 6th bonus tip, and that is to treat yourself just a little. This bonus tip is all about sustainability and empowering yourself to put these things into practice for the long run. If you are miserable, if you feel like you're suffering, you're not going to continue to do something. And we want to set ourselves up for success. It's really important that you only have one splurge, and that you make sure that that splurge, whatever it is, still falls within the parameters of living below your means. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, we welcome your comments and feedback. Let us know what topics you're interested in for future videos and what you think of the channel. Remember, earn more, spend less, and invest the rest. And we'll see you next time.